today we got to play Tiny Epic Pirates. It's kind of small.
Kind of hard to point to.
We'll have to like zoom in. Zoom in. Ooh. All right.
Wait a minute. That you're not supposed to do that part. Only Randy does.
Wow.
Anyway,
everything
that
of mine is his.
Hopefully you're all okay out there. And
I think I might have shrunk
in the weird world now, but I just got this via Kickstarter, so it just came out about a week ago.
Yes.
So.
This is part one of our epic adventure,
That's right?
Because we're going to be going through several of these epics.
Each of my game night picks is going to be the series of tiny epic games that I own. I don't own them all, but
whether we want them or not.
That's correct.
So I'm actually excited. I've heard a lot about Tiny Epics, specifically through a couple of people, and so I was actually really excited to play this game. And the fact that it is pirates. Pirates is a theme that I absolutely love. In fact, we played some pirate music while we were playing, so that was fun. So this is a dice chunking.
Chunking when you'd be cutting the dice to pieces.
and I don't want you doing that.
That would have been fun, though.
You know what? I can't pronounce things. Okay, and then
action selection.
Action selection. Also, I think it's also a bit of a
exploration,
pickup delivery.
Yeah,
I think there's a few mechanics in this game as well. So, going straight into quality of pieces, everything is so petite, but it's so awesome. And
so one thing to note is that any of the Tiny Epic games that you get, you got the add-on. So I bought the Tiny Epic Pirates mat and the player mats as well. So normally this would just be the cards that you would see laid out on the mat, and you would have separate cards for the player. Instead of player mats, you would have player cards that all fit in the Tiny Epic box.
Rob got the Tiny Epic big box, which I think is hilarious.
So Tiny Epic add-ons.
Yeah.
There is not really a big box as of yet, but it sounds humorous.
But just make a note of that.
I didn't realize that looks like a skull.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Quality of pieces, you have these tiny miniatures, miniature ships that are actually really great. There's a lot of detail in them. So that was really great. You have wooden loot boxes that you end up delivering throughout the room.
They're screen printed too, so there's no stickers.
Yes, that's great. As well as the cannons that are screen printed as well. You have these wonderful coins.
The doubloons.
Yeah, the doubloons. They're metal.
They are metal. They're not wonderful.
Nice. I will admit
they're little.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Exactly, but that's going to be Randy's.
But they're bigger than the pirates, so like all they need is one, and they're set for life. You know, the pirate steals one of those. Granted, I don't know how he's going to carry it, but it's as big as he is.
Okay, you can just ignore him. All right.
That's what we do.
And then you have the wooden meeples that are shaped and like little pirates. That's the captain. And I'm sure
apparently he has a crew of children.
No,
deckhands.
Yeah, deckhands.
That are the size of his hand.
It's fine, okay. And then all of the stuff screen printed. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love the player mats, the cards, linen finished. The quality for these are all really, really nice. I mean,
which is pretty standard for. I mean, even just the regular version, because you got the deluxe version versus the regular version. Most of this is the regular version. And so the upgrades would be the ships are a little bit better. But most of the upgrades is like to the box, where the non-deluxe version, you might not have this really neat internal artwork for the box, where this has got the artwork in the box. And it's that kind of stuff, which is kind of nice, so that when you buy a retail version, you're going to get a lot of the cool stuff too.
Yeah. So for quality pieces, I can't really point out to something that I didn't like or didn't. I think everything was top notch.
There was a little bit of paint issue with one of the
there
was.
On the font.
They got a little crazy with the paint or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was the only thing that we saw that was like a.
And these dice are an add-on, so it kind of looks like the two looks like a little skull, but I think it's supposed to symbolize like a chest. Where this is just the standard die that you would get without the add-on. So, just so you know.
Yeah. So overall, fantastic quality. Give it a number.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I think it's great.
Ready?
I don't like it that much. I'm thinking more of a 7.5. I honestly,
For all the quality pieces, you got the linen finish,
first
you've
of all,
got the miniatures.
ships
you've
we
got...
had, the like I know one of these times this fell apart. The
Yeah, it's not
sails.
glued together.
Yeah, and
So it's meant to.
trying to put the cubes in, particularly between the sails, was a problem. As far as the mats are really nice, although they don't have any of the edging on them.
Right.
He's nitpicking it.
No, this is all important stuff.
Okay.
The screen printing's okay on it. It's good as there. The pirate should have been screen printed though. And there's, if you're, especially since these are the main things, these should have been screen printed before anything else, in my opinion. So I think there's enough missing from it, and it's.
But can you compare it to some of the other games that we've rated 7 and 8s? I feel like this is better quality than some of the other stuff that we've rated.
I don't think so. Not for. It's better than it's definitely better than 6 level stuff. This is better than the Hadara we rated yesterday, as far as the quality.
Right, but I just feel like some of the other 7s and 8s that we've given.
I definitely don't think it's as high as a 9. The best it can go is an 8, but I don't even think it's that. I think it's 7.5. Is my opinion.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm with Robert. I don't see. They did everything right except for whatever you said.
If I was to be nitpicky, I think Randy's right in the regard that I wish they would have made the captain a little bit different, other than just being bigger. Maybe a little bit of artwork.
Well, he's a different shape.
They did a nice job with these. This is probably my favorite piece of the whole thing, except for the fact that it drove me crazy that the main side you play on is the mirror image of what it is on the mat, and I just kept wanting to flip it just so that it would be, because one side is the one you play on unless you go mutiny and change your character, and then you flip it, and it's really the design is set for the mutiny. So it's basically I should have chose the wrong character and immediately mutinied, so I'd feel better about the game.
So I'm still gonna do this a 9. I think they did everything spot on and well. Or were you gonna change your score?
No, I think it's a 9.
So moving on to theme, it's pirates, and it feels like pirates. You're the only thing. I feel like there should have been more benefits attacking people.
Yeah. So I think that's more on the gameplay side of it, but
it kind of feels to theme. Like that was the only. I felt like it was almost better to do like the merchant thing than it was the pirate thing, and this is supposed to be epic pirates. So for the theme, that's where it kind of caught me a little, but everything else I feel like was spot on.
So what would you score?
I don't know. Someone else do it first.
So I think that. So talk about theme though. The artwork is really nice.
It is fantastic.
The cards in the middle that you're sailing around for the different islands. That's randomly placed, so it's not going to be the same each time you play. The same cards will be out, but just in different order. The crewman cards, the artwork on that is really nice. You got a market that kind of helps guide you on how much each of your items are worth when you sell them to the market. That's really nice. And then you got the different the merchant ship cards. They're going to be the same for each card, but the artwork in of itself is still nice. So I think the art is great. So thematically, for me, I think it fits really well. Mechanically, it fits well for the theme too, because you're sailing and burying treasure and getting crew to hire on your ship. So I think thematically it fits really well. I think I had a blast playing this. I want to give it a 9 again.
I'm gonna give it an 8 on theme because, like I said, it almost felt more beneficial to do the merchant thing than the pirate thing.
And I get that, and I know one of Randy's main critiques is basically like leveling up your crew and your ship.
But that's not a theme. That's gameplay.
Right, it's gameplay, and I get that. So
so in my point, that's the only part that took away from the theme for me, is that it's like I felt I was doing more by actually doing the salvage thing, and which may actually be raiding a village, which is still piratey, but I guess the way we were doing it, it didn't feel piratey. Right. So what were you rating theme?
As far as theme, I love pirate mood games. I don't like small box games, so it's kind of a torn on this one.
This didn't feel like a small box.
Well,
game,
that's because
though.
we got the mats. If you take away the mats, becomes a different feeling game. I don't think I would want to play this without the mats involved.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think the mat helps with organizing things.
Well, certainly
and,
these
and placing stuff, but I don't think it adds or takes away to how it feels like to me a big box game that's in a small box.
See, it wouldn't feel like a big box game at all to me if we took away the mat, and particularly these mats, the player mats. I thought, as far as the theme, I'm with you on the merchant thing, because I mean that was one of my critiques during the game, was it felt like it was just going around sailing and picking up and delivering was the most beneficial from scoring, but that was more of a gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, and here's my thing though: if they would have done something where, play a merchant or play a pirate, that could have been fun. That could have been interesting. But that's not what they gave us.
But as far as the feel of it, I love the look of the cards. I love I mean, the ships don't have enough weight to them in my opinion, but they look nice on the board, and there was some functionality issues with them, but thematically they look nice. So I took away from them from a quality standpoint. I'm not going to take away from them again from a thematic standpoint. I like the treasure chest, the way everything works, and the gameplay does center around it. I do think this is probably a high 8 for me. This is probably an 8.5 as far as capturing the theme of pirates.
Okay, cool. Moving on to rules.
Well, I did the rulebook. Just like any of the Tiny Epic games, I think Scott Holmes, who's the designer, is able to do such a cool job of kind of finding these mechanics that you would find in a normal, bigger box game and kind of streamlining them. And then it reflects that in the rulebook as well. It's easy to read. It's easy to set up. It's easy to follow. I'm going to give the rulebook. I think it's a 9. And it's fun to read the rulebook too, and it captures the solo play really well in it as well.
Okay, cool. I trust your opinion.
I don't trust your opinion, but I didn't read it, so I can't go otherwise.
That's fine.
Moving on to gameplay. So just a general synopsis. So each player has their own pirate ship. There is also a Navy ship that travels around the board that is after you. And then there are 2 merchant ships that travel across the board to the 2 different ports. So in the process of the game, there's a couple of actions that you get to take, which is on this rondel of your player board.
Which each one is randomly assigned.
Yeah, so you have your own color sections that fit into the rondel, and you just shuffle that up. And so each time you play, the order of those actions are going to be different.
And each player is different too. So I think that was actually pretty cool because we weren't doing the same thing at the exact same time. So that was good. So one of that, so a couple of the actions quickly is the trade action. So basically if you had goods already on your ship, you could go sell them at the appropriate location. This is with that pickup delivery filling that we kind of talked about. Then the lookout, which the lookout one lets you either search. There are tile.
They're like little discovery tokens.
Yeah, little discovery tokens on each of the
on all the
cards. And so throughout the game, you find one, and obviously that's removed from the game. They give you small benefits, but the lookout will also let you bury your treasure. And that's this mechanism. There's a lot of different places that you can bury your treasure. You pay
and that's
the
the goal of the game, is to bury 3 treasures.
That's how you end the game.
Right, so that's the important one. The other action is picking up crew members. Each of the crew members are have different powers or abilities along with different dice. So when you do attack either other pirates or the merchants, you'll get other abilities. Also, some of them, depending on the special power, if you do a certain action, you get another ability when you do that action. And then the next one after that is cannon. Obviously, that's attacking another ship. And then the last one is raiding.
That's not the last one. There's also the anchor, which is always on
yeah.
there.
So, and then the one that doesn't ever change, it's at the top of the tier. It's the anchor. And that's essentially, all right, you've done your raiding and your pillaging, and now you're going to hide out for a little while to kind of go under the radar of the Navy ship.
The key thing is it gives your work, which we haven't talked about in the gameplay part of it yet, but you have your deck hands, and if you got them assigned, or if you get attacked, which the Navy ship is really good at because you automatically lose, all those deckhands become jostled, and so you can't use them.
Do not let the Navy ship get you.
It slows you down.
Like, no joke. I really do think Randy won because me and Robert both got hit by that Navy ship, and it just...
It takes a couple...
That's
full
because
No,
you
five.
guys,
It takes us
you guys
5
skipped
turns.
the anchor, and I went to the anchor every time.
We learn from our mistakes, okay? Well, so Robert did it first, and I wasn't paying attention to him because, I don't know, I'm just pirating my life over here, and I didn't realize how much it killed him. And then when it came to me, I didn't realize the ship could move 3. That changed on me. It slowly increments up the further along in the game you get.
No, it's based off the number of treasures you bury. So,
right.
So if I buried 0, it only moved 2. But if you buried 2, it moved a lot more.
Right.
So,
That's what I'm saying is it's based on how far to the completion of the game you are. And anyway, I'm sorry.
It's brutal.
It is brutal.
It's brutal.
I don't know if it should be that brutal because it was rough. But after that, I always went to the lookouts because it wasn't even worth it.
And the reason why it's so brutal is one of the neater mechanics, in my opinion, of the game is that you move 1 space for free on your rondel. But if you want to skip a space, you can move your deckhands and place them on the rondel and skip them and go to future actions much quicker. And if they get jostled because you're attacked, you don't have that option anymore. So you literally can only move 1 spot. And there'll be times where you go to a spot, it does you absolutely no good. So it's a complete wasted turn.
Well, the other thing the deckhands do is you can assign them to your riggings, cannons, or your extort function, which gives you the ability to move more spaces, or to attack more, or to get more money when you do anchor. So yeah, there's the additional bonuses for each one of those.
Right.
And you can distribute them how you want. So if you know you're going to go attack this round,
before you
put them
attack,
all
you
in.
can move them around.
Yeah, so that's a nice perk, and I like the functionality that they put into that, where you use them there, or you can use them to skip spaces on the action.
But once you place them on the wheel, they stay on the wheel until you either have a special ability that allows them to move them off the wheel, or you anchor, and then you can move them wherever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I thought that was actually a really cool mechanism, but with the Navy jostling all of your people right there, man, and it would have been better because eventually I got to the level where you can have 2 movement.
Right.
Like, then it wouldn't have been so bad, but being restricted to
just
one movement.
You're going nowhere.
And you can't skip stuff. Right. It was just awful.
That brings us to the part that I have the most problem with in this game. They have this really nice chart for leveling up on your playmat, and it seems like it's really important. I never leveled up. Well, I think I leveled up finally at the end of the game 1 time.
I got up pretty high.
Well, it's very limiting how you level up.
Right.
So you can only really level up generally by attacking other pirates.
Right.
There's other ways, but it's very limited on the merchant ships, and that you don't get to those until a little bit later in the game. So if you want to start leveling up early, you have to attack each other. And it's not super brutal. I mean, you only get 1 crew deckhand that's jostled, and you could lose. You don't even lose your goods. You attack the merchant ship. So you jostle a crew member, and that's it. But you'll level up that track, and that's a key thing for all Tiny Epic games. You have the ability to level up your mats to do better things quicker.
Well, yeah, but the problem with this game in particular is that the actions to level up the cannon, you have to get all the way around the rondel to do it. The game was over in 6 rotations around the rondel for me, because I found it much more beneficial to just pick up and deliver the objects and avoid fighting than it was to get into combat. And if I did get into combat, it was a very luck-based combat system where if I'm attacking another player, if I'm attacking the ships, you know what your attack is, so you're not as much in a luck situation. You still have the luck of the roll, but it's only your luck versus the other player who also might have cannon, the surefire cannon tokens, which allow them to automatically hit you, and that can do a lot of damage because they get to set the die to whatever they're most beneficial. So it was less chance of me winning in a fight against another player, and it just didn't seem like going up this chart was going to be fast enough with the combat. and the fact that by the time you get to the cards, if you're attacking the poor green ship, which got beat up badly in Arrgh, if you're attacking them, you by the time you get in the deck to the point where it actually levels you up, especially if you're playing in a 3 or 4 player game, because it does it faster in a 1 or 2. There's no point in even leveling up. Just play the game out and get the money and as quickly as you can to bury your treasure.
Well, the thing is like I right out the gate was attacking, right, because that's part of the pirate, and I thought that mechanism would be stronger than what it was, and it wasn't.
There just needs to be an additional mechanic somewhere to help level that up quicker, because with like the other tiny epic games, my favorite being Galaxies, you can buy your way up to leveling up with different resources. So it's nowhere near as restrictive in that game versus this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it being attack related, but I do think if this would have happened at the 4 level, like the 1 or 2 requirement wasn't on here, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
I really do think it would have been fine. But because that wasn't the case,
I think it's like all the merchant ships, no matter what level it is, you should be able to level up. Because the other part of it is, are you in the same area as the merchant ship when you are on the dial to attack? So it still takes some work to be able to get into the same area to be able to attack them at the right time. So I don't think it would harm this game at all if all the merchant ships.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is maybe what they were doing is because there's so much gold value to these ships, adding on a level feature really
would be too powerful.
But at the same time,
reduce the gold value then,
right,
and balance that out.
Yeah, but then another part of me is like, but it's a pirate. Attacking should.
Yeah, attacking merchant ships is exactly what you should be doing.
Right, absolutely. So that's what I feel like. It's like part of me is like, that may be overpowered, but in another breath, well, duh, you're pirates.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm like, I could see.
I agree. That is my one criticism, is that it would have felt really good to be able to level up your ship or your abilities a lot quicker than what we could. Because you got, I think, maybe you got the highest.
I got the highest.
But I don't think any of us got to roll 3 dice in a game.
No.
No. Oh, no, I did. Barely. That last round, but I didn't actually get to do it. I just
got the ability.
Because the game ended.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like that whole mechanic was a waste, even though I really wanted to do it.
Right.
I mean, that was the whole thing. It's like, oh, I like it leveling up games.
Right.
There was just no benefit to it in this game. And once I saw I could make a lot of money by finding crates, and then and I was even getting the low valued ones. You guys were getting the 4s and 5s. I kept getting the 2s and 3s. I still was able to get enough of the 2s and 3s to where I could drop them all off at once and make enough money to go up the chart, and then 2 rounds I'm able to bury my treasure every 2 rounds, and there's 3 treasures, so that's 6 rounds, the game's over. And there was not enough actions of going to the cannon that I could even do to make it worthwhile.
But even though I do agree that it's a pretty big deal as far as that, I think an element that I really liked, which I think you did a good job taking advantage of, and us a little bit less so, was the crew, the crew cards.
I fully stacked up.
Yeah, but I don't think it benefited us as much as it benefited him.
No.
When he attacked, he got some really good hits on the merchant ships.
See, but I know, but then I did something different. Like when I did the lookout action, I also got to do a
and that's why
attack action. And
that's why I like it, because it adds almost an engine building aspect to the game. Because basically all your crew cards have different die pips at the top. That equates to your attack. So if you have 2 4s and you roll 2 dice and it's both 4s, you get 4 hits on whatever you're attacking. That part's cool. And then you can almost spread your the odds by getting different crew members with different numbers, and it increases the likelihood. But underneath that is bonus actions. Mm-hmm. They all have it. So if you select an action on your rondelle with your lookout, you can do X, Y, and Z in addition to that.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, I got the one that gave me a sure hit and gave me 2 money every time I anchored.
Right.
Which was nice, because, I mean, that's why the cannons became less important to me, because if I got a cannon action, I would use it to attack a trade ship, because that would give me another resource to sell. Mm-hmm. So it was not beneficial for me to attack you guys, because I would be losing money. And, money's all that matters in this game, really. So it's like, why on earth did we not have this leveling system built in a way that it would actually benefit you by doing something other than just attacking other players or getting really deep into the deck?
Right.
Yeah.
But I really like the crew cards.
Yeah.
I think
The crew cards were great. That was probably my favorite part of the game.
And something that I noticed like halfway through the game, I was like, dude, I'm creating an all-female pirate crew. This is awesome. And I just thought that was a fun little thing because it was just cool. And there was plenty of representation, I guess, in the game, and that was kind of fun.
So overall gameplay. So end of the day, what would you score?
I really liked the game. I'm just not sure it should be called Epic Pirates.
Tiny Epic Pirates and Merchants.
I love it. Let's do it. No.
Tiny Epic Merchants that dress up like pirates.
Yeah. No. The thing is, even though with the critiques, I still had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a solid 8 because I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have done a little bit better in a couple other things, but it was still a lot of fun. 8. I'm at an 8.
I'm a little lower to 7.5. It's not that far off, but it's just there wasn't enough to me to push it to an 8, and this is a big miss in my opinion.
I agree it's a big miss, but it's not such a huge just drop it down to a 7 in my opinion. I agree with Miranda. I think it's a solid 8. If that was better, it would be a 9 to me.
Oh, absolutely. If they would have fixed this and make sure the attacking other things were a little more important, this totally could have been a 10. Like, they could have knocked this out the park. But with those two things,
right.
It's an 8.
Yeah, it's an 8.
Well.
And it's a 7.
Well, he said 7.5.
Well, 7.5.
So.
Yeah. I mean,
if you round it up, it's an 8.
Yeah, 7.5 is good for me on a small box game. I mean, typically it's going to be 6 at best, maybe 7.
Why are you anti-small box game?
Because
here's the thing. We're about to go on this trip, and I do not, we have to actually have room for clothes. So these are excellent.
Well, there's children we can leave behind.
I know which one I would choose.
Uh-huh.
No. Yep. Robert, can I borrow some more small box games? No. It was fun. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We loved having you. If you would like to join us and hang out again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Let us know what your favorite Tiny Epic game is.
The next one on my pick list is going to be Tiny Epic Galaxies with the black expansion, which is really cool because it has pilots.
What's going to be your next pick?
What, my next pick? It's not a Tiny Epic game, I can tell you that.
No, I know, but what's your next pick?
I have no idea. They'll have to
While
wait
they're
and see.
arguing, I'll want to let you know some stats here.
Okay.
So, Board Game Geek rating is 7.7, which is pretty good. Designer Scott Alms, who's designed all the Tiny Epic games. Art is by Chip Cole, Nicoletta Vazzi, Ian Rosenthaler, Benjamin Schulman, and Felix Wormke. A lot of people doing some art there. Published by Gamelin Games. Now, again, this just came out on Kickstarter, just got it a little over a week ago, so it's not available on retail yet. But I saw someone selling it on the geek market for $125.
Wow, that's crazy.
I did not spend that much for this game because that's the other benefit. If you never bought one of these games, the Kickstarters are all super affordable. All the deluxe versions, $48, and that's with shipping. Now, that's not the add-ons. You have to spend, usually the mats are $15 to $20. I think it's an extra $10 for the extra doubloons. But, it's less than $60 or $70. I got all of this. That's an awesome deal, in my opinion.
I think that's a great price point.
So I really should check out Gamelin Games and the Tiny Epic games if this interests you at all. It's a really good value.
So, funness. All right. Thank you guys so much. Loved having you guys. Bye.
Bye.